The state of Georgia had a 2.3 quake felt today. Did you know that this state has dormant volcanoes at the Pigeon Mountain range close by? Actually, it's about 70 miles north of where the quake took place around Atlanta. The reason I took a look at the volcanic of the area is because we have the Blue Ridge Mountains in that area. And I was just wondering, what is going on? Because yesterday we found that we had the Kansas 3.5 quake and the 3.0 a few hours before that. And we found that Kansas, of course, has a number of kimberlite volcanoes, which are diamond-spewing volcanoes. They spew diamonds, garnets, and semi-precious stones. And actually, we found the map that shows that North America has a number of diamond mines, most of the good ones being around Colorado, but we have along the eastern seashore as well, the Appalachian Mountains area. And this, today's quake of 2.3 in Liburn, Georgia, is just I would say, northeast of Atlanta. It's been reportedly felt by 3 people. It was 5.3 kilometers depth, so it was pretty shallow. Now, looking at the tectonic summary on USGS, it never ever, they don't usually talk about volcanics or past dormant and old volcanoes in the area, but we look at that too because that's part of the geology as well, right? Well, this area of the earthquake is just basically 70 miles south of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And from what I found, the Blue Ridge Mountains were at one point as tall as the Himalayas. The Blue Ridge Mountains are physiography province of the Appalachian Mountain Range, located in the east United States, extending 550 miles southwest from Pennsylvania, Maryland, west to Virginia, North Carolina, all the way down Tennessee, Georgia. And it consists of regions which are divided near the Roanoke River Gap. And they're noted for having a bluish color when seen from a distance. The trees put the blue in the Blue Ridge. But within the Blue Ridge province, the Shenandoah National Park, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, 8 national forests, including the George Washington Jefferson Memorial National Forest, Cherokee National Forest, a lot of beautiful forests there. Now, the geology. The Blue Ridge Mountains are ancient granitic carnothites. They're metamorphosed volcanic formations. And recent studies, Professor of Geology Richard Tolo of George Washington University gave us insight into the geochronology of the Blue Ridge Mountains. And they state that the Blue Ridge Mountains began forming during the Silurian period 400 million years ago. Approximately 320 million years ago, North America and Europe collided, and it pushed up the Blue Ridge Mountains. At that time of their emergence, the Blue Ridge were among the highest mountains in the world and reached heights comparable to the much younger Alps that we have today. But today, due to weathering and erosion over hundreds of millions of years, the highest peaks in this range, Mount Mitchell in North Carolina, is only 6,684 feet high. It's still the highest peak east of the Mississippi River in the United States. So now Pigeon Mountain. Pigeon Mountain is the highest point. Mountain has elevation of 2,330 feet. We're talking about the Pigeon Mountain in Georgia. And there are few people that realize that we have volcanic chain in Georgia, in the state of Georgia. And I'll leave links below for you to see that there's a little secret not many people are aware of, that there are volcanoes that exist in the North Georgia mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Now, they did have a quake there, 2.5 in 2017, and now we have a lot of Georgia quakes, but a lot of people say, okay, it's the New Madrid seismic zone. Of course, wherever you have a rift valley, it's a fault. You have a rift valley. You also have volcanoes. Okay, so New Madrid seismic zone is the Reelfoot Rift zone. It's actually should be called, the geologists say, New Madrid Rift Valley. Okay, but it turns out the earthquake there was so strong in 2017, it prompted the geologists and scientists and professors to take a closer look at this area. And it turns out that we know that as what we know is Pigeon Mountain. It was called Pigeon Mountain because when the first settlers went there, they saw a lot of flocks of pigeons there, and that's why they called it Pigeon Mountain. So Pigeon Mountain, they say, is actually a volcanic range, as we can see from the image that I here we got some of them from Google Earth, and you could see the caldera imploded there, and you have quite a few little volcanoes. So it's actually a volcanic range, complete with a dormant volcano and a few extinct volcanoes and an interesting caldera. Now, okay, just because a volcano is dormant doesn't mean it can't become live. Just last about 6 months ago or so, the Kamchatka Peninsula of volcanoes, that's to the west of the Aleutian Arcs, which the Alaska Aleutian Arc, which are all volcanic islands. Well, Kamchatka is also a volcanic peninsula belonging to Russia, and they had this list of volcanoes that were, could be active, and they did not include one volcano which they considered dormant or extinct, and they found that it was filled to the brim with magma and it was about to explode. And they didn't know that it would come alive again. But they were warning people to evacuate that area because it was about to erupt. So you never know what a volcano is going to do, even if it's extinct or dormant. Because if it has magma underneath, you never know how the magma is going to act. And we always have magma under rift zones. That's what creates the rift, the magma underneath. Thins up the crust above, and it stretches. So the Pigeon Mountain area is actually a volcanic range in Georgia here, complete with dormant volcanoes and a few extinct and interesting calderas. Now, the dormant volcano actually erupted, it says, in 1857 and has been remaining still ever since. 1857, so it's about 150 years ago that it erupted. That's amazing. It's not too long ago, actually, right? Now, the New York Times wrote about the eruption on June 20th, 1857, noting that residents of the area experienced the mountain becoming violently agitated. There was also witnesses to sulfuric acid smell, that rotten egg smell, the smoke billowing from the top of the mountain, and ash raining down from the sky. And when you take a closer look at the area, you can see from Google Earth, the geologic shape differs from most other regions in Georgia. The flat rock point on Pigeon Mountain being the most distinguishable, and there's a map here on the site I'll leave below for you, showing the volcanic range. We have north towards the 3 o'clock position, so we can fit it lengthwise in the frame. So it points to the dormant volcano, extinct volcanoes, collapsed calderas. It's essentially a large volcanic basin. And rumor says that Pigeon Mountain is actually hollow, even said to contain diamonds in some of the volcanic tubes underground. Okay, so, well, we're not surprised because we have the map of the worldwide kimberlite volcanic sites, and the kimberlite diamond spewing volcanoes, and the eastern seaboard is full of them. So we're not surprised at that. It could be as well, there as well. As you can see here, there it is. Okay, Georgia and North Carolina, and take your pick. They're everywhere there on the eastern seaboard. So we shouldn't be surprised. But then going to the USGS description of the area, what's going on there, the tectonics. We say most of North America, east of the Rockies, has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous. For example, in the New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, in the Charlotte-Kamouraska seismic zone of eastern Quebec, New England, New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington. But most of the enormous region from the Rockies to the Atlantic can go years without an earthquake large enough to be felt, and several U.S. states have never reported a damaging earthquake. Well, this one has been felt. As we said, the earthquakes east of the Rockies can be felt, it says here, over an area more than 10 times larger than a similar magnitude earthquake on the West Coast. And even the Kansas quakes yesterday, they were felt by hundreds of people. So we would imagine thousands would have felt them. Now, it would not be unusual, say, for magnitude 4 in eastern, central, or central North America to be felt by a significant percentage of the population in many communities more than 60 miles from its source. So most earthquakes in North America east of the Rockies occur as faulting within bedrock, usually miles deep. Few earthquakes east of the Rockies, however, have been definitely linked to mapped geological faults. Well, okay, this here we have, let's take a look at it so you can see it more clearly. This is our earthquake of today in Georgia. This was the 3.5 that we had in Kansas yesterday, and this was the 3.0 that we had a few hours before that. So they're not small. Okay, and obviously this was felt by, let's see how many reported it, 26 people. Okay, they didn't have too much of a, all right, so this is what we're talking about. This is today's quake. And going to this is the Blue Ridge Mountains area, as we said. And you can see Atlanta is right here. It's about 70 miles north of Blue Ridge, and this is where the area of the Pigeon Mountain formation is. This is north, it is to 2 o'clock. Let's turn it back again. Let's turn it back. Okay, here we go. So this you can see right here is different from the other locations. And this is the area, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the volcanic range right there that we're talking about, Pigeon Mountain. And this is where we had our earthquake. That's about 70 miles distance. Okay, I do pin earthquakes sometimes, but they're not always there, they come off. That Jackson Coliseum is over a volcano. The Coliseum is sitting over the crater of the volcano. You want to go and take a look? Let's take a quick look. I'm surprised that pin hasn't come off. Okay, it's right on the Mississippi. It's one of the tributaries of the Mississippi River. Let's go. You'll be surprised. There we go. You see that? That's it. That's the roof of the Coliseum. And it's sitting right on top of the caldera of the volcano. Yes, that's a volcano there. And they've got the, what can I tell you? Okay? That's a volcano. And here we have more. Okay. So this whole area here has kimberlite volcanoes. This whole area here has kimberlite volcanoes. So does Kansas. Kansas has 3 volcanoes here, and 3 plus 9 volcanoes, at least 15 volcanoes. If you see the video before, this one having to do with the Kansas quakes, a couple of videos back from yesterday, this is full of volcanoes. And they're diamond spitting volcanoes. They don't spit lava. They spit diamonds. They're explosive. That's why a lot of people that hear boom sounds here. Boom sounds here. A lot of people hearing all these boom sounds and their houses are shaking. please know that you have, this is not fantasy. We're not making this up. This is quake area. We've seen an uptick in quakes, and the geologists have said yes. New Madrid seismic zone has an uptick in seismicity lately, and don't be surprised, because all this here is a rift zone, and wherever you have rifts, you have volcanoes as well. And we take that as, for example, take the Great Rift Valley in Africa, okay? And the same thing here. This is another rift, the Mid-Continental Rift. This horseshoe shaped here is a mantle plume, and it's got magma underneath. They don't know where the magma is coming from. I wouldn't be surprised if it's coming from Baja, which is supplying the west, and here, who knows, maybe it's got another corridor going this way. All these are volcanic islands here. Puerto Rico is volcanic. The Antilles are all volcanic islands. We've got Mexico and Guatemala volcanoes. Anyway, these are volcanoes too. And then we have the East Coast Seamount, the New York Seamount here. That's 30 volcanoes, underwater volcanoes right here. We've even had quakes in Rhode Island. We have quakes. We have quakes in Pennsylvania. We've had quakes around here, Montreal, Ottawa, even north of Lake Superior, Lake Ontario, Newfoundland. We've had quakes which were not that small. Let's see if they have them on here. I don't know if they still have them on. Well, one of them is here. One of them is still here. This one here, Labrador 4.3. And then we had the other ones, they took them off around here, 4.6, 4.7. Then we had the Azores, they took it off, 4.6 here. A couple of days later, we had the quakes here and even here. When was this? Okay, 2.7 in Virginia. So you see, they're not small. Not particular. How many people felt this? I'm surprised. 404 people felt that, you see? Which means thousands felt it. 404 reported it. So, okay, that's what I wanted to show you, that Georgia also has volcanoes. Volcanic field, Pigeon Mountain volcanic field. Let's go see it again. In the Blue Ridge Mountains. Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. I'm not going to sing anymore. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Okay, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. Dormant and extinct. Dormant, 150 years ago it blew. So, please be careful, all of you there. And maybe the boom sounds are also the gas being released from all these volcanoes here, because they're diamond-spitting volcanoes. Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, all these here on from what you see on the map. Okay, so tell me what you think, and please be careful, all of you on the East Coast. Thank you for your support. Please comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.